Veganism and Evolution by Dorothy Thomson, taken from The Vegan, Summer 1961. The following is a report of a talk given recently in Kensington, London. It is impossible to separate veganism from the natural course of human evolution. It seems compatible with the idea that we are following the divine pattern in the universal mind, towards the archetype of which Professor Jung says, there can be no explanation on purely empirical grounds. The perfected human being must, of necessity, be completely harmless in order to express the divinity which is slowly unfolding in the hidden depths of his being. Veganism, by the purity of its expression and complete compassion, can redeem humanity from the dark abyss into which it has fallen. But in following this path, we must not fall into the error of feeling that we are superior to others. For as the whole potentiality of the flowering oak tree is in some mysterious way latent in the tiny acorn awaiting its unfoldment, so is the potentiality of perfection in every human soul, however limited may be its present expression. It may not always be oblivious to us with a limited vision, but as we can see a flower unfurling under a speeded camera, if we could transcend our limited experience of time, we would see this continuous unfoldment. Judged on a purely material level, we could not say that veganism is an easy way of life. Let him take up his cross and follow me is applicable to anyone who feels the Christ consciousness stirring in his soul. This is the beginning of compassion, the gathering up of life in all its manifestations into oneness, the life of the whole. Then we commit the cardinal sin of daring to be different, for at last we are individuals, breaking away from the crippling influence of mass thinking which causes so much sorrow and suffering in the world. Then begins our Gethsemane of the story of Galileo, is the story of human evolution. We experience our crucifixion and resurrection in our personal lives. Those we love may not always tread the same path. This is inevitable, for the eagle flies alone. The vegan has reached the stage when he knows what he has to do, for now he listens to the inner voice of his intuition, the only criterion which he now obeys. His own desires and wishes no longer count, for he sees a world in travail, where the weak are exploited and oppressed. Where the creatures should be free in their innocent expression of life, he sees them confined and tortured, and sacrificed to the merciless Midas of materialism, and pity has no place in the world turned commercially mad. But this is not the whole picture, for dreadful as the atrocities are to the sensitive soul, the very extent of them is waking people from their terrible lethargy. The Buddha said that inaction in a deed of mercy is an action in a deadly sin. This seems to be the malady of the world. Many of us in our hopelessness and sorrow are apt to feel anger and intolerance at the thousands of tepid people who walk like robots with a selfish detachment from the suffering of every side. But rather than hamper our own cause by a militant attitude, it is better to win them over with gentle enlightenment to the truth. Resist not evil is a truism that never fails to bring the desired results. Great souls like Mahatma Gandhi prove this only too well. Having dealt with the things which lie in the path of the pioneering vegan, let us dwell on the more happy element. There is among a group of people working towards some universal good, a communion that makes relationship a truly joyous thing. I think that selflessness alone brings true happiness and spontaneity of being. The pure living food taken by the vegan, with its undiminished energy drawn straight from the sun, the source of all life and beauty, renders him more sensitive to the ebb and flow of life, enabling him to live more fully and creatively as he was meant to live. Some people think that vegans are too sensitive, but look around at the cruelties and barbarity of every side and see what insensitivity does. Let us be continually aware and sensitive. Surely this is life's greatest gift, for it opens the eyes of the spirit. A poet said, "We should be a stringed lute upon which all winds can play. Unless we are conscious of the darkness, how can we comprehend the light? When we see the anguish on every side, where the strong prey upon the weak, and the sanctity of life has no meaning in a world on the brink of annihilation, we know the time has come to end this era of spiritual famine, and to free ourselves from the herd instinct. Let us go bravely forward into the future, forging our way fearlessly through the debris of outworn ideas, a spearhead into the dawn of a new era when all life will be recognized as one, using the form that the consciousness has evolved. Then man and the beautiful creatures of the earth, his younger brothers, will live in harmony, which is love. This is the meaning of veganism, a great panacea of all life's problems. Then the promise will be fulfilled. Behold, I make all things new.